Do.
Welcome to Two Dudes With Do. I'm Josh.
And I'm Shae.
Today we talk about something near and dear to our hearts. Food.
I mean, kind of the whole basis of this channel at first.
Yeah, but of a more specific variety. That of the diner.
Ooh.
The very special diner, the Denny's.
Denny's.
What has been coined as the all-American established diner. What used to be a diner, they're bringing to the new age. I don't know the exact slogan, but I know that was what they were kind of trying to push.
I mean, Denny's has got it really going on right now, to be fully honest. They now have delivery.
Yeah. So here's the funny thing about the delivery situation with Denny's. They've been trying to do that for years now.
Yeah.
The problem is they've never been able to figure out how to transfer the food and make it still taste the same.
Yeah. No,
Because I don't know if you've ever noticed this about Denny's food. If you let it sit too long, it's like styrofoam.
Yeah.
It's really weird.
It's really weird.
It's too processed, I think.
Yeah.
But so when they were trying to get the right delivery system, because they tried restaurant runners, didn't work. They wouldn't get it fast enough. They tried food grub, stuff like that. But they never could quite get it to work. Mm-hmm. And honestly, getting people to order Denny's from home.
Yeah.
They were trying to get that image in their head, you can order Denny's at home. It still tastes good.
No.
It's like, no.
I remember the blind bandit. He ordered himself some Denny's to go. Now, the local Denny's here is about 20 minutes away from here.
At the time,
At the time. I mean, that's the closest one. I think it still is the closest one.
8 miles is only, it's about 10 minutes.
Yeah, 10 minutes.
So it's still a little bit of a travel.
Yeah, Denny's food, the nice thing about it, the moment they hand it to you, you gotta start grubbing.
It's good. It's good that way.
It's that perfect thing, wow, that's hot, but not the boy, I gotta stop for a second.
I will give them the fact that their salads are bomb.
Oh my god.
They do have good
I gotta get it every time.
They do have a good salad.
Talking about salads, I got some stories.
But let's talk one more second about this delivery feature.
All right.
They have coined it to where it works now.
Yeah.
So if you're like, and here's the funny thing is a lot of fast food restaurants are now doing it.
Yes, they are.
They've all gotten on the bandwagon of if we can just send it to their house, they don't even have to leave the house. They can just be true fatties in America.
Oh.
Thank you.
Oh.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I didn't need that. I didn't need another reason not to leave the house.
Thanks, Denny's.
Thank you, Taco Bell. Thank you, McDonald's. Thank you, everything that's trying.
Can we get a King's Whopper delivered?
Probably. I don't know how far out Burger King is from doing it, but they're right around the rim. When McDonald's started doing it, Burger King's right behind
the moment McDonald's starts doing something, you gotta copy it.
Exactly. So, speaking of salad.
I got some stories for you guys. So, me and my friends, the Blind Bandit and Seabass, we always go to Denny's when we want to hang out. The food's generally pretty cheap, let's be honest. It's not too expensive, but it's not...
It's moderately priced.
It's a great price for food. And you get a lot of it. And it just feels homey. It's comfy.
Yeah.
So, when we're like, hey, what do you want to eat? Let's go to Denny's.
Yeah, if you're going to sit down somewhere, for sure.
I mean, the joke is, when someone says they're hungry on Discord, immediately somebody's like, Denny's? Every time.
Funny thing is about his last name, too.
Yes, Seabass's last name is Denny's. Denny.
Yeah.
So, we made that joke the first time, and now it's low scale.
Denny's?
It's now low scale.
Are we going to go to Denny's?
Going to Denny's with a Denny.
Anyways.
Doing that double D.
When you go, there's always a group that goes.
Oh, who goes to Denny's by themselves?
Drunk people. Anyways.
Okay.
Moving on.
See, I wouldn't know that.
Stories.
Josh has got that side covered. So, me and my friends, as young adults, we're a little mischievous.
No.
No.
Who does that?
No. So we're slapping some jokes, yada yada. And one of the mainstream jokes we have is every time I go there, I get a salad. Both Seabass and the Blind Bandit, they don't like salads. They don't like greens. Okay. So I'm like, give me a salad. And they're like, you getting that salad, Jay? I'm like, darn tootin'.
You gonna get it with ranch?
Yes, I am. And every time, I don't like cucumbers personally.
I do.
I don't really like them. So I jokingly, the first time, I just joked, here you go, Sebastian. Here you go. He's like, oh, thank you. And the guy does this. So he, starts getting comfy in his booth, leans his head back, puts the cucumbers on his glasses.
Like you would see in a massage therapy place.
And right as he did that, the waitress came in. You guys need anything? And he has these cucumbers right on his glasses. And he panics and flies up, and the cucumbers fly across the table and hit the blind bandit. I did not tell you the full story.
Oh, man.
I did not tell you the full
He
story.
never saw him coming.
He never saw it coming. It was hilarious. And now every time I get my salad, I hand it to him. Every time he does something different. Showing right here is him having the cucumbers in his glasses, just being a normal guy. And he ordered his food like that.
See, the thing about Denny's that makes it so special is it's a place where you can kind of let yourself go. And even the waitresses don't care.
They don't care as long as you're not being rude, improper. If you're being, quiet enough.
Yeah.
They don't care if you're yelling like, hey, shut up.
I've only ever seen one person ever get kicked out of a Denny's. It was because of that.
If you're not breaking stuff, you're just saying jokes, laughing. They don't care if you're laughing loud. They got your money.
Yep.
I mean, come on.
Remind me this Saturday when we go to the hangout, in town.
Yeah.
That I asked the guy to tell you about the Denny story where he had to choke a guy out.
Oh, that sounds interesting.
It's not my story. I can't tell it. If you guys want to listen to it, go listen to Sofa King. They'll tell the story. It's on one of the episodes. They only have 300 that you have to go through. So
only 300. I mean, they only have triple that we got.
Yeah. I mean, you'll find them eventually. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So I do remember there's another story you told me about the blind bandit, though.
All right. So every time we go to Denny's, the blind bandit, his mom tells him, "Get me food," and she orders very weird things. Per se, she's like
complicated orders.
Complicated orders. She's like, "Give me an egg, but without egg whites and yolk, but replace the yolk with butter." I'm making things up, but basically it feels like that. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Give
guys.
me eggs, but don't make them eggs. Make them something else. Make them
out
butter.
of sausage.
Yeah.
She just got complicated orders because she knows what she likes to eat.
It's fine.
So he reads it, and the blind bandit, he's like, "Mom, please." And he starts, and right before that, he asked the waitress for napkins because he spilled something. So he starts reading the text, and right as he puts his hand out to put some more emphasis, the waitress puts the napkins in his hand. He's like, "Thanks, Mom."
That's what you call bad timing.
And now every time me, Seabass, and Blind Bandit are together, or if it's
any combination.
Thanks, Mom. Every time.
It's a good story.
Interesting fact. That's the only one time
so
I
now,
did say thanks, Mom.
Yeah. So now, it makes sense if I'm ever with one of those three with Shae, if there's napkins being handed out, that they say thanks, Mom. Or if there's anything being handed, really.
If there's an order, thanks, Mom.
So I'll have to remember that when I go hang out with them one of these days.
Yes.
That probably is going to happen, and it's not my thing to say, but I will enjoy watching it and go down.
It was just such good timing, and Colton puts so much emphasis of being embarrassed. It makes it so much better.
Now you may be wondering, why the heck are we talking about Denny's stories? Well, it's because of this idea of the Denny's Conundrum.
Ooh.
It's something that my brother and I have discussed several times, and we've discussed with friends, and I've discussed with Shae today.
And it's true to me too.
Yeah. And it's this idea of the Denny's Conundrum is, during the day, if you go to Denny's, it's a one-style restaurant. It's a diner with just decent food, if at best. And the waitstaff is somewhat okay. They're not great. They're not happy. They're just there. And then the people there are just kind of there because that's where they have to eat.
It's
that
like
day.
the morning food. Like, okay.
Yeah, it's a morning breakfast
omelets, baby.
Lunch. They've kind of decided this is where I'm eating lunch today. Or
as
far as dinner goes, it's like, hey, I have kids. I've got a lot of people here. This is cheap for me to eat.
Yeah.
And so that's the kind of place that it is. And this weird thing happens after 8 p.m. The whole atmosphere changes of the whole restaurant. It goes from that wholesome diner to this utopia of happiness.
It really is. It's crazy.
It's like the waitstaff changes at that 8 o'clock hour, and it's like the dinner rush is over, and now just stranded people are coming in, and they're just happy. Yeah. They're happy to see you walk in. Hey, how you doing, hon? You're like, what the? This is Denny's, right? You're like, yeah. Seat for 2? Oh, no, I see you have 2 more friends out there. Seat for 4?
Yes.
You're like, yeah, 4. Thank you. Thank you. And so they jump right over here. Is this okay for you, or would you rather have a booth? We'd rather have a booth, if that's okay. No, that's fine. Don't worry about it.
I love booths.
Right over here. Here's your booth. And you're like, this is different.
It's like right as the dinner rush comes in, they just drink all the leftover coffee and like, whoa!
So that's how it happens after the 8 o'clock hour.
Yes.
And you'll notice this. If you're there before 8 o'clock, you'll see the change.
Mm-hmm.
It's very strange. You start seeing the difference in the attitude of the waitresses, and people around actually start to change their attitude as well.
They start laughing more.
Yeah.
You start hearing louder conversations.
Yeah, and then the funny thing happens after 9 o'clock is the type of people that come in start changing. You start seeing the different crowds. These are the people that you don't see during the day. These are the people that are just out for the night. And sometimes they find the banquet hall, or sometimes they're in their own little world at the booth.
That's the fun part.
And so that's when the fun stories start happening. Now, you're there after 8. Now you've got a happy wait staff, so you're happy.
Yes.
And then after 9, you start seeing the weird people come in. And now you're overjoyed, because now you've got some fun stuff going on. And I'll get to that in a second. And then something very strange happens after about 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, depending on the day. Earlier in the night, the more close to the weekend you are, and in the weekend. You start to get this different cooking staff, where the food starts coming out that's phenomenal.
Denny's is like cereal.
Yeah.
The later you wait to eat it, the better.
Yeah.
A midnight cereal is one of the best meals you'll ever have.
And the weird part is it's not the steak that gets better, it's not the hamburgers that get better. I mean, they do, don't get me wrong. They do get better. They're cooked better. But the eggs and the pancakes and the French toast and things like that, hash browns, they turn into these golden goblets. And they like the waitstaff brings it out and they're like, here you go, enjoy. And you're like, this is perfectly cooked. What happened? Oh, we got the new cooks in. This is the night cooks. And I don't know what it is about night cooks, but they come out and they're just
better
like,
than day cooks.
they're just amazing cooks. And they're like, yeah, I have to be here, but I cook good food. You're like, heck yeah, you do. There's a big tip coming your way because of this. And so that happens after 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock. And so the Denny's conundrum is, what happens between 8 o'clock and 4 o'clock? It's just weird. Just all...
You've now entered the Denny zone.
Yeah, the weirdest things will happen during this time, and it's perfectly acceptable. And nothing changes during the time that Denny's are there. The wait staff, they don't care.
It's all happy.
They know that it's going to happen or something like that. It's like people come in throwing up. No big deal. You don't see them freaking out. They just like walk over with them up. Yeah, another guy threw up. You're like,
pay it today.
But you're cleaning it up. Yeah, I don't want anybody to slip on it.
I'll put the wet sign so we don't get sued.
You're like, I don't get it. And then right after 4 o'clock, the morning crowd starts coming in and have to eat before they go out to the fields and stuff. And it's back to that weird just...
Hi, welcome to Denny's. How may I help you?
And then the cooking food starts to go down
They get tired.
Yeah. So the Denny's conundrum is, what happens between these hours? It's like you're in a whole new world.
A whole new world.
I was hoping you'd do that. And so these are the stories...
And crispy fries.
These are the stories I get to talk about because these were the times when I'd be at Denny's. Shae would be at Denny's during this time in the banquet hall for
8 to 10.
Yeah, 8 to 10. You were doing your League of Legends.
The banquet. Oh no, that is 10 to 4.
Mm.
And guess what? We left at 4:30. They were rude as crap. They did not get
Denny's conundrum. And also, if you're in a banquet hall, the Denny's conundrum does not apply to you during the night.
No.
Because you're in the banquet hall. It's not Denny's.
We're in the banquet hall.
Anyways, so one of my best stories that I start out at 9 o'clock. This guy was early to the party. This was a Friday night.
Ooh, boy.
And so he's out there, guys. I mean, he's drunk. And he comes in with his buddies, and there's a drink of water sitting right there, and it's got a straw. And you just got to sit back and watch this stuff. You got to go to Denny's and just sit back and watch. Because this guy, he's leaned back a little bit, and, you can tell his eyes were rolling a little, and he's a little drunk. And so he's thirsty, but he's talking with his buddies. Yeah, how you doing? And so he starts reaching for the cup. Yeah, yeah, man, it was a great party. If I could, no, see, you're right. And then he gets a hold of it, and he's like, and you can see it was like, yes, the nourishment's coming. And he's like, screw it.
Oh, I'm sorry. While I sit
Back
down.
at it. And you guys, I'm sorry, you guys in audio land couldn't hear it, but he was reaching for the cup but catching air, reaching for cup, catching air, and he did it several times. And when he finally got it, he couldn't quite get the straw in his mouth. And then when he finally did get the straw in his mouth, it was like, hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. You could see it in his eyes.
Is it holy water?
Yeah,
Please, sir.
and this is the kind of thing that happens. That is the Denny conundrum, because people come to Denny's drunker than a skunk, and they think it's completely acceptable. And that's why it's so great to be there after 9 o'clock and just sit back and watch. Now, if you happen to be in the group with the drunk guy, it's a whole different story. The Denny's conundrum still happens, but you are now a part of the story that's going to be told later.
You are the conundrum.
You are the story that's going to be told later. And you know this because your buddy's the one trying to drink a straw but can't grab the straw.
And you're like,
just drink the cup like normal, dude. You don't need it. But germs. There are no germs. Anyways. And so, my buddy one time, I wasn't there, my brother's story, but it's too good not to watch, not to talk about.
Not to watch.
I mean, I wish I could have been there to watch it, but he goes out with some guys. One of his friends goes out with him. We talked about him before in the podcast before. His name's Andrew.
Oh, boy.
And they had a long night, and Andrew was a little extra that night, and he wasn't quite making it at Denny's that night. So, being the smart friend that my brother was, and knowing that the Denny's conundrum is in full effect and everyone's watching him being the conundrum, he asked him, why don't you go out and wait in the truck, and we'll bring you whatever you want. Food had already been delivered, no big deal. Okay. Goes out to the truck, and they're a little worried about him, but he's alright. And then one of the guys looks over his shoulder to check on the truck. He's not in the truck no more.
Oh, no.
He has decided to start walking out to the Rosedale traffic, which is a main highway. He is on his way.
Get out of the way, cars! I'm walking here.
So of course everyone in the store doesn't just happen in the conundrum doesn't always just happen inside. You get to watch outside too.
It's the surrounding area of Denny's.
Sometimes you get to watch some breakups.
It's a bubble.
Yeah, it's great. So one of them had to save his life, but it was one of those things. And they've also had the same story where the guy threw up in plate.
In plate.
Yeah. The lady drops food off. He's like, "Thank you." Blah. Wasn't quite that fast, but threw up in the plate. So, Denny's is just one of those places where, if you ever have a chance, the conundrum is being either outside of it and watching it, or being a part of it. And you don't want to be a part of it.
No.
But the conundrum is, how does this happen? And there's really no explanation. I mean, other than maybe a different waitstaff, a different cook staff shows up, and they're just happy to be alive. Because you get some rough-looking people up in there. You're like, whoa, Sally.
Whoa.
So, how you doing? I just want to let you know the special tonight is a Salisbury steak. And, wait, it's my other job. It's a T-bone steak here tonight. You're missing 3 teeth.
I've never had a steak from Denny's.
Oh, they're good.
I've had a chicken fried steak.
The steak from Denny's is good.
Is it really?
And that's another weird thing. Yeah, that's great. Is this food thing. Yes, there's better cooks, but it's still the same food.
Yes.
When you take food home after 10 o'clock, that food stays good to the next day.
Is that really?
I kid you not. I've taken home chicken wings. I've taken things like that.
I got a burger from there at 3 a.m. Took it home because I'm hungry, but I wasn't that hungry. So I ate a burger, ate half of it, put it in the fridge, ate it the next morning. It was good.
There's no explanation of why this happens, but it does happen. So, I do challenge you the next time you go out to Denny's is to check it out. If you're close to 9 o'clock, just wait and just watch. Because you can be walking in and watch some seriously fun stuff. I mean, if I could have my brother on this episode, he has seen even better stuff. Some of the greatest stories I've ever heard come from Denny's. I kid you not, my wife almost knocked out one of her teeth at IHOP, but that's a different story.
That's the IHOP conundrum.
The IHOB.
Can't wait to get a burger.
Thanks. Anyways, so there's something that pops up over here.
Yeah, I'm going to flip up the social media. So I'll flip them around.
Yeah, they are. That's
Look
nice.
at that.
Pretty.
Nice. But what I meant to say
Patented.
What I meant to flip is the like, commenting, and subscribing.
Oh, the stoplight.
Yeah, it's the stoplight.
Yeah.
The stoplight of YouTube.
Yeah, so you can always like us if you like the video. You can also dislike, I guess, if you want to.
I mean, I've abandoned that.
Yeah. If you want to comment, you can. Say what you've seen at Denny's after whatever time. And tell me if the conundrum makes it into the earlier stages of day. I don't know. I've never had that happen myself.
Maybe in Alaska.
Maybe. Kind of topsy-turvy up there.
You never know.
Yeah, and then if you want to, you can subscribe to us so you know every time we upload a video, you can check us out. And if you are subscribed, make sure that the bell's on. That
Ring
way,
the do bell.
if the bell is on, you know when we upload. It gives you a little notification on your phone. You're like, oh, hey, it's time to watch the video.
Hey, it's to do.
Yeah, and if you like to comment, but you don't want to talk to us on
Comment.
here, comment. If you want to talk to us, but not on this YouTube, you also check us out up on those ones. There's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Patreon. You can hook us up all over there, and you can actually hook us up with money on the Patreon if you want to like us.
Give us a doodler.
Yeah, you know, no dollar's not going to kill you a month. I mean, dollar's like 25 cents every 4 days. You know, it's not so big deal.
I mean, in 31 days. Let's average it to 30 because of the months.
It's like 2 pennies a day or something like that.
Something like that. It's like
3
5
pennies.
cents or something like
3 pennies a day.
that. 3.5.
Yeah, I mean, it's not that much.
I mean, I'm sure you know when you go to get some food, you probably like, oh, it's just a penny. Eh.
Yeah, you probably got some change. Just saying, change will help us out. And
Very
if you
much so.
do that, you get Discord. That's a place where you can live chat with us, and you can listen to Music Bot if you do more than $1. And if you like us, but you want to hear more of us, that's where all of our audio podcasts comes in. We're on iTunes, we're on Spotify, and we upload to Podbean. Podbean spreads it out to everywhere for us.
Thank you, Podbean.
And then you can listen to us for more than just the 20-minute episode you have. You actually have a 50-minute episode going right now. See what I'm saying?
And there's some good stories in that 50-minute
Yeah,
episode, too.
there's plenty of good content there. You guys go check it out, okay? So, for Two Dudes with Do,
And Lightly Food.
I'm Josh.
And I'm Jay.
How do you do?
I really want Denny's now. Like,
too.
I'm like chicken fried steak, baby.
I'm just thinking I want a sampler with a salad.
Ooh.